Oh, yeah! Very good. Okay, very good.
Good morning and welcome to episode 1564 of Hard Factor. It is Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Thank you for cheating on the news with us. 80-ish% accuracy guaranteed on this podcast. Patreon.com/Hard Factor if you need more Hard Factor, which you might. Up to 3 weekly bonus podcasts. You can get them in there. Today, good news. Hurricane Milton hit at probably a category 3 or lower, not a category 6. That's awesome because it's like category 3 as we're taping this. So
yeah, motherfucker. Think about it.
Yeah. I'm sure it still ruined a lot of people's lives and
belongings. Oh, for sure.
But
for sure.
It could have been a lot worse. It looks like, and again,
a category 3 is better than the non-existent category 6.
Yes.
Milton's out there playing golf. Milton got a birdie.
Yeah.
No.
Or an eagle, technically on a par 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, depending on if Milton wanted to destroy things or wanted to be nice, but yeah, he's playing above or below par for sure. We're also talking about Lieutenant Dan versus the Hurricane.
This is the best news for Lieutenant Dan possible.
The biggest.
Everyone's talking about Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah,
well, rightfully so. Lieutenant Dan.
Have you seen Lieutenant Dan yet, Pat?
Everybody's talking about Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, mm-hmm. I seen Lieutenant Dan.
Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan.
He's the number one thing on the internet right now. He's replaced Pesto, who replaced Mudang. It's now Lieutenant Dan.
He is the internet's darling. Yeah.
Society just keeps getting grosser. Like the fact that like the entirety of our society is incentivized for like creating content.
Lieutenant Dan's going live.
Yeah, but there's people like hooking Lieutenant Dan up with material to retain lives. Everyone's trying to make $1 for themselves, and Lieutenant Dan or Lieutenant Dan's supporters, enablers, might be the same.
Lieutenant Dan needs some cash, though. You've seen his wet bar. We'll get into it.
He's gonna get it.
We're gonna. I'm sure his Instagram account's got to be making him some money at this point. We're gonna recap Fat Bear Week as well. Talk about a dirty pastor who's stealing nudes again. That guy.
I'd like to talk about, but I can't find the evidence. I'd like to talk about, and also like Wes just isn't on the show this week because every time I think about talking about, he's not here. Hawk 2 is suing the guy who made the video, but like I can't find any evidence
really
actually about it. Lots of rumors.
She's suing the man who made her famous.
Look, these are I shouldn't have brought it up because I can't prove it. No one can.
Well, when Wes is back,
rumors.
I think he's back for tomorrow's episode. He's going to have to stand on trial for his girl Hawk 2.
She's Hulk Hoganing it?
Very different situation where Hulk Hogan was filmed by his buddy Bubba Love Sponge banging his Bubba Love Sponge's wife.
He knew it was being filmed.
I mean, she knew. Hawk 2 knew. It was on a video.
The rumor is that Hawk 2 is suing the poor guy that didn't get famous from who shot the video.
Oh, just more lovely
for some sort of either
ownership,
right? Maybe of it, or I don't know. I don't know.
She should be given 10%.
She should be giving him a Hawk 2.
She should be.
If she
spitting on that thing
agreed to be in the video, I don't.
Look, we don't know. The point is, it's not true yet until we find the court document.
We need to see the court documents.
It's a rumor.
Get Wes's take on that because
you don't sue the guy that
claims she's a darling. You know?
She's so boring, bro. Her and Jake Paul talking about Jake Paul being like, if you get a prize pick parlay, right? By the way, shout out Prize Picks. Use our code. If you get a prize pick parlay, right, I'll get a tattoo on my arm. Oh, will you?
Is that? I haven't. You've listened
to fucking. No, it's just a dumbass clip of those two talking. Makes you want to just put a needle in your eye. Anyway, we're talking about a horny pastor.
Nice. All right.
Check me out. Check me out on Prize Picks. Can you see it? I've won 16.
Put it in the middle.
Other way.
There you go. There it is.
Hard to see. It's got
You're up. Well, look at Mark. He's up.
16 of one, like 360, but of cash, 16 parlays. Prize Picks, baby. It's awesome.
16.
We got it in the Discord. Put your Prize Picks in Discord so we can ride together.
High or low? High or low?
Picks.
Yeah.
Keep your ear out for that for that inserted ad on Spotify. Also, watch on Spotify. Give us some streams. Help 5-star review. And we're talking some pretty cool science news to finish up the show. I got to give the scientists credit when they hit the jackpot, and you'll see why I'm giving them credit at the end. It's pretty impressive.
Well, I think it's time to give Lieutenant Dan some more credit.
Yep.
Now, again, this episode will release midnight Thursday, which is like directly when the storm hits, and we recorded it a few hours before that. But at around 8 p.m. Eastern time, things were looking pretty good for Lieutenant Dan for the first time in a couple days, right? And Tampa. So Lieutenant Dan, if you don't know,
the whole state, I mean, because it went up Wednesday, right? It had gone down to a 4, and then it went back up to a 5, and then it's now back down to a 3 right before.
It went 5 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 5 to 4 to 3. Now it's at a 3.
I wonder what that would be a song if you did that on Guitar Tab.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, someone should play that.
6. Yeah, that would shred some panties. But so Lieutenant Dan, he's become famous. He lives in like a houseboat, a pretty small. He calls it a jetty or whatever, and he's right on the water there on the Tampa Bay. Call it Tampa Bay, right? And he rode out Helene, which did have like a 5 to 6 foot storm surge in Tampa, and after that kind of became famous because I think a lot of people in Tampa know who he is. As when you're in a city, you kind of know who your eclectic, like homeless personalities are. Lieutenant Dan,
local losers,
sure, and he's missing a leg, which is why they call him Lieutenant Dan, or he calls himself.
Oh wow! I just thought it was just he was on a boat and refused to leave. He's got 2 Lieutenant Dan things going for him.
He does.
Also the booze, because his little galley there is filled with liquor bottles. So
everyone was like, dapping him up after Helene, and then all of a sudden Milton comes and they're like, well, you're not going to ride this one out, are you, Lieutenant Dan? This one's like 3 times the storm surge and it's hitting directly. And he was like, no, I'm going to ride it out. So everyone got real concerned. They started recording him. Here's some locals that hawked Tua and made Lieutenant Dan famous, recording him on TikTok.
All right, Jay, they're saying 20-foot storm surge.
It could be 120. It doesn't matter. The boat floats. That's the whole thing. Keep the water on the outside of the boat, and the boat will go up with the water and down.
Philadelphia accent.
That's what we want to do.
Can we please get you into a hotel?
No.
Everybody's been asking, man. We got to get you off this thing.
We got to get you out there, but
the only way I'm going to go to a motel room is if a woman invites me and she's going to stay.
Yeah.
I hear that.
That's the only way I'm going. That's the only thing I give the boat up for is a girl.
That's a little bit of Lieutenant Dan for you.
Yeah, that's a Pennsylvania accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of transplants down.
A lot of East Coasters come down to Florida. Yeah,
We know about him, or do we know about his history?
Well, he's got a lot of booze on the boat.
Yeah, I mean, he has one leg. He lives on a boat.
How many raps does he have on the sheet?
Oh, lots. I mean, I'm not interested in Lieutenant Dan's criminal history. I'm really more interested in what he's doing now, which is inspiring the nation. Yeah, okay. I mean, like this guy, like Mark was saying at the top, like he has become. He's like the action figure for America as we face Hurricane Milton. And so far, Lieutenant Dan is winning. I mean, he's coming out on top.
Will and I recorded Florida Man Friday a little bit earlier on Wednesday, and we were very, very concerned for Lieutenant Dan. But then the tides turned, pun intended. And there's a video of those same guys. They went out and they videoed him around 7:30, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and they're like, Dan, and he was like, it's dark outside, and he's like inside the boat, and he pops his head out, he's like, I'm still here. He goes, this is low tide, and they're like, it's been high tide for 3 hours. He's like, no, this is low tide. So
he's got it. Look, Dan knows it like the back of his hand. He can feel the tides.
Yeah,
he lives on the water. Okay,
his boat looked just fine at that period.
I like how he described how a boat works.
The post though, where he tied up to,
but left out how waves are a factor. You know what I mean? He was like, "Here's how a boat works, idiots."
Also, the wind. He's not really giving the wind.
No boat
does a lot.
No
of
boat in the history of boats has ever sunk when in the water. You idiot!
Right. He was also
how a boat works, dumbass.
He was also relying on like a 3-foot rope to keep him on the dock. And if it was 20-foot storm surge, that would
tires that he grabbed.
Yeah. Beyond that, I was thinking about like I don't know what it's like in the Bay. Maybe you guys know because you were researching it. if all the boats are out of the water. I mean, most responsible boat owners are going to get their boats out of the water. But in a hurricane, almost inevitably, there's some rogue fucking boats just cruising around. And if you're Lieutenant Dan, what are the odds that you get hit with a rogue boat? Pretty high.
Right. Well, if
Maybe.
you remember at
We gotta
Tom Brady,
see.
Tom
It's a
Brady's
live
first
action
year,
test.
Tom Brady's first or second year in Tampa, there was a hurricane that hit, not as bad as Milton, and he didn't know about the boating thing, and he lost his boat. And his neighbors had to be like, your boat's in our lawn or whatever. Like Tom
You
Brady
didn't take care of your boat, Tom.
like,
Tom,
yeah,
come collect your boat scraps from her lawn.
exactly.
I mean, dude, Lieutenant Dan, look at this. Look at how big Hurricane Milton is. It's just bearing down.
Not big
on the
enough
state
for
of
Dan.
Florida. And Dan just doesn't give a fuck. I mean, first of all, really cool, the lightning strikes from space, the outer space images of Hurricane Milton. But Dan is sitting right there just staring that thing down. And he's good.
There were some tornadoes, nasty tornadoes. There was also a 28-foot wave recorded 40 miles behind the eye of the storm in the ocean, and they got an overhead view of this giant fucking wave. It was pretty cool. Scary, but cool.
It is scary, but cool. But Florida, I think what's happening is they're getting a second wind, right?
Yeah.
They've been being told all week that the state's about to get wiped off the face of the earth with this Category 6 hurricane. The thing is slowing down to a 3, and then you got stuff like this going on. Former Hard Factor guest Brian Inton, he was out on the street interviewing people in the Cat 3. Check it out.
In the water, and there's a jogger. Actually, look at this. Wow,
Shirtless
Florida man
jogger
right there for you, Blake. Jogging in the hurricane.
It is jogging.
Look at the trees, though, Blake, and you can see. Let's see how windy it is. Again, it's coming through right now.
That's amazing.
What?
That's amazing.
What's going on?
So Florida's feeling it. I think, this is one of it's like a bit of a turning of the tide, right? Like, it was like everybody in America has been talking just nonstop about how the Cat 6 is about to.
Yeah, they pulled a Vanderbilt on Alabama right now.
Exactly.
Hopefully.
And now, it's late in the game, and they're like, oh, shit, this hurricane's getting tired. And so now they're running up the score. They're going on jogs in the hurricane. Lieutenant Dan
Hopefully it stays that
absolutely
way.
refusing to lose the boat. Yeah, I mean, it's just,
I thought this was interesting. Manatee County, which I guess is like directly the path. Manatee County Jail is refusing to evacuate their jail.
Damn.
A lot of jails down there are refusing to evacuate, saying we'll get the prisoners to the top floor. I don't know,
we have a roof plan. We got a
obviously
roof plan.
we lock them up and we forget about them in this country because it's one of the most broken systems we have. But you can't do that, right? There's got
the roof plan.
You can't just leave inmates in a jail, right?
You can't do the time in a flooded jail. Don't do the crime.
I think it would be a whole lot different if it was still a Category 5. But
yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of Katrina prisoners were in
yeah,
jail
but Katrina was a Category 5 that made landfall. This is
totally but my point is Katrina, a lot of prisoners didn't get evacuated.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole court system got washed out basically. If you had a pending charge, it was also good for you because
they had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to be a Cat 3, Pat. Okay, they just said they had a suspicion.
This would be a whole lot different if this thing was still like the Cat 6 that people were hyping.
Right, and the prisoners still would have been exactly where they were.
Yeah, true. Florida wouldn't have changed even in that situation.
But
anyway, I heard that Lieutenant Dan beat up an EMT one time. That's what I heard.
Don't you dare sully Lieutenant Dan's name.
That's not surprising though. Things get passionate in the heat of the moment. Lieutenant Dan is a passionate guy. You can tell by all the booze. His wet bar. It's on the floor of his galley in the boat. You could see it. It was.
He'll lurch at you. He'll lurch. But
what? Robin Alpert just gave $1,000 to his GoFundMe just a moment ago, which is at 26,000.
Lieutenant Dan is going to be. He's doing all right.
He's going to upgrade the boat. The last thing on Lieutenant Dan before I move on is back to Brian Enton. A lot of people were offering him safe harbor, safe haven, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And Brian Enton went up and interviewed him Wednesday morning and was like, "Hey, Lieutenant Dan, everyone's worried about you." He's like, "Who's worried about me?" He was like, "America." And he's like, "Listen, we got like a hotel right back here. We got higher ground. You do what you want to do, but if it gets bad, we're gonna come get you. We'll get you a safe spot." And he goes, "Don't bother." He goes, "You guys are just a bunch of robots, a bunch of sheep. You guys live in your own world. I'm fine."
This is a boat.
Yeah,
he called him. Y'all a bunch of fucking robots.
He called the guy offering him help.
Hey, you got a vagina?
Yeah.
You got a vagina that's open for business for old LT over here? Then no, thank you.
Like I told the last folk, unless you got a lady up in that hotel.
Is no one listening? Why am I doing these things? Yeah. No one's called me yet.
Yeah, I love it.
So, Hi Now live comment is asking, is Lieutenant Dan still on the boat? We believe so.
I think he evacuated.
Well, as of 30 minutes ago, he was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, he's been going live from the boat. No, I'm pretty sure he's still there.
Literally 20 minutes ago, he was on at 7:10 p.m. Eastern time. So
okay,
and the water looked fine where he was.
Do we think that this affects Tampa Bay at New Orleans at all this weekend? Do we think?
Yeah, Tampa Bay gets a huge bump from Lieutenant Dan. In fact, if they bring Lieutenant Dan into the stadium, if they bring him to New Orleans, I don't know where the game's at.
He might end up there. It's in New Orleans. Yeah.
If they have Lieutenant Dan with them,
just shoot him across the Gulf,
dude.
It's a can't lose.
Also, they're the Buccaneers. Situation. If you strap a peg leg on Lieutenant Dan, it's
give him an eye patch. Let him fucking shoot the cannon. Oh my goodness,
it's gonna be a blowout.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blowout. The Bucs are definitely getting a Lieutenant Dan bump from this. If there's betting going on online, lots of polls. I saw it was like 70-30. People think Lieutenant Dan's got the skills to survive this one. I agree. I'm with the 70%.
It's a fucking boat, Will.
Yeah, it floats.
Yeah,
it is.
Fucking idiots. You idiots don't get it. Okay.
Yeah. He's gonna be.
He survived.
He's gonna be 2-0 against Hurricanes. Survived. Fingers crossed.
2-0 against Cat 3 Hurricanes. Right.
Yeah.
So, well, the spread's 3.5 down there in New Orleans, and Derek Carr's probably out. And I hope
he's
Lieutenant
definitely
Dan
out.
Is in.
Lieutenant Dan literally just defeated a Category 3 2 weeks ago, so he's already got one W under his belt. He's looking for a second. And then they need to bring him into the Superdome.
When they strap that wooden peg leg on Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
When they strap it to him, that line is going to shift to like -18.
Baker Mayfield's going to throw like 80 touchdowns with the leg on Lieutenant Dan.
Over.
It's
I don't want to be too morbid, but I got to be honest with you. The photo from Lieutenant Dan's GoFundMe, tell me that this doesn't immediately, when you look at it, also double as an obituary photo.
So you're with a 33%.
I'm just saying.
You gotta lay off Lieutenant Dan.
Can we get his Can we do a background check on the guy calling us robots?
He's very godly.
Well, he's only calling Brian Enton.
He's got a lot
anybody who's pressuring him to change his lifestyle.
He's got a lot of Christian tattoos, and he said Noah survived on the boat. So he's
good point about Noah. And then but he doesn't have animals, so
and he wants them. So hopefully he gets them.
Mark. I think that's a blimp, not a Jesus fish.
No, I know, not that one, Pat. He's got one on his. Got one on his arm that says "I got you, God" or something like that he talked about.
Look, pussies. The only thing that's gonna get me out of here is pussy. So you shoot some goddamn pussy down here, or I'll die, and that's on you.
Yeah,
he said it
exactly.
I bet some ladies offered it too. After he said
he's going to be swimming in pussy. But look, from one awesome
golf.
In the Gulf, he's going to be swimming
or
all
the Gulf. Your
day.
call. Your call, ladies.
Yeah, see you out there. For one awesome human, Lieutenant Dan, to some awesome animals. Fat Bear Week, massive update. We have a winner. The competition is concluded, and we have a winner.
Not 469.
No. Now, to prove that I was just joking about Bear 469 being disqualified for being a murderer and just, slaying his female opponent, which he did actually cause a 24-hour delay in the competition for a vote retally. I was just
slayed her like Lieutenant Dan in a Baywood Suites in Tampa.
He went Dan on her, Dan style. The runner-up himself was a murderer, so I was just joking. Murderers were allowed in. They let murderers in this competition. Okay.
Well, bears. I mean, it's hard to find a non-murderous bear.
That's
murderers. One thing about bears. Yeah.
Yeah. Runner-up and killer of a bear cub recently. Bear number 32, Chunk.
Chunk.
Oh, yeah. Dude, look how his back is starting to buckle from his huge belly.
Yeah. I like how he's like a pear-shaped bear. Like he has no weight in his front quarters, and everything's just in the ass and the midsection.
It's a good visual. It'll get you votes. It'll get you the top. It shows it off. So he got karma'd real hard by the mother of the deceased cub. And now back-to-back winner, bear number 128, Grazer. Female Grazer wins her second in a row.
That's her after pick?
Yeah, look, maybe it was a sympathy vote because fans do
Oh,
elect
that's a
the winner.
sympathy vote, bro. There's no way. There's no way.
Fans elect the winner, and a lot of them were aware that Chunk killed Grazer's cub.
Chunk is the champion. Okay. This is an asterisk.
She won last year.
Put those pictures back up, though. There's no chance. Chunk has her beat. Just you say, what's the fattest bear of these two?
This is late September 2024. This one is, I found it on the internet. Could have been any time. Chunk, there's a sympathy vote, maybe an asterisk, but the bottom line
looks like he needs oxygen. Chunk does.
Yeah, he does. He needs to be on a fucking respirator. He's about to pass out.
The Cubs were wounded. Cubs were wounded, and he finished them off. So, regardless, she wins the 10th annual Fat Bear competition, which this is bigger than Shark Week. This is huge. So big one. She lost the Cub, but this is for the record books, the 10th annual. She won the 9th, she won the 10th. Really, most shocking to me is that 747 didn't win.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough credit.
He's classically fat. He doesn't have the pear shape, but he's massive. So, anyways, yeah. I guess what happened was in July, two of Grazer's cubs were swept over a waterfall where Chunk was waiting at the bottom, and he tried to kill both of them, killed one, wounded the other, and then got tired, I guess.
You don't fall into Chunk's waterfall, all right? That's the one thing you don't do.
Also, not sure what's happening with the Fat Bear competition, but last year it got 1.4 million votes overall in the finals, and this year Grazer won with just over 71,000 votes. So maybe they just threw all Chunks out. Because
that sounds like cooked books to me. I mean, Chunk's got
a massive decrease in voting.
Damn. Drama with the Fat Bear competition.
Yeah. Congratulations, Grazer.
You guys want to talk about a horny pastor?
Yeah.
By the way, just a bit of pop culture news. My favorite band in the world, NOFX, called it quits over the weekend. They retired.
Oh,
they played their last show ever, which I streamed the Saturday show on Saturday, but the last show was Sunday, which I watched this morning, and I cried 4 times.
How random was it that I texted you about them asking, like, the
tremendously random?
That was crazy.
What's really weird, Mark, is and then I texted you a song back where you texted me Linoleum is great, and then I put on the show right then, and they were playing Linoleum that second.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's kismet. Like, that was like, yeah. I'm glad you got to watch the last show.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a really great show. On stage was Dexter Holland from Offspring, Chris Shiflett from the Foo Fighters, the other Shiflett from Face to Face, Fletcher from Pennywise. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Nick M says Fat Mike definitely on drugs. Absolutely, Nick M. He's admitted that. He's been on drugs for the last 30 years. 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. Because it was visible. At the
No FX, yes RX.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you
their
do.
brand,
Fat
right?
Mike, their lead singer, was pretty much sober until he was 27 and then started doing drugs and has been on drugs for the last 30 years. He's 57.
Never look back.
But the band's 40 years old, so,
Great
he just
band,
did it in reverse. Great band. Check them out. All right, guys, I just love this story, and it's fantastic, and there's an update on it, okay? But it's about a pastor named Gabriel Mills. He's 41 years old, and he is from the same city as one of the most important polka bands of all time. I'm talking about the Kenosha Kickers. This is 41-year-old Gabriel Mills from Kenosha.
You've heard him. Polka, polka, polka.
Polka, polka, polka. Come on.
You've heard of us, right?
Holiday season, little Home Alone reference.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
John Candy.
Mills is a horny MFer, and like a lot of pastors, he absolutely violates his position of power, often apparently, to feed his horny need. And he was the type of pastor that would have, prayer groups at his house. He's pastor at Journey Church in Kenosha. And I don't know, maybe it was like 6-8 months ago, he has a little evening prayer group at his house. A bunch of other couples come over. And I get the feeling it's like kind of some like younger white Christian couples kind of vibe, couple prayer group vibe.
So a church, well, like a white.
Exactly.
Church.
Yes. Will good call. So a
Church
Christian church, a Christian church. Yes. So he's got all these couples.
Well, I mean, a white
over.
church. It's like there's different styles of churches.
They're young. They're horny. Anyway, so he had these couples over. He had a bunch of cats over, and he goes to one of his flock, this man, and he says, "Hey, can I borrow your phone? I want to download this audiobook app for you. It's probably something like Pure Flix, which is the Christian Netflix, which by the way is a lot of fun if you want to download that. Maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe I doubt it was Audible. Maybe it was. I don't know, but he's like, let me download that for you. And the man, he's like, sure, pastor, take my phone. And I guess the pastor had the phone for, quote, a long time, a really long time. And what the pastor had done is he had searched through that phone and found nudes of the man and his congregation's wife. And he sent those nudes to himself.
Yeah.
That's
Daddy
right.
found gold.
Yeah, Daddy found gold.
How did he send it? Did he just airdrop it to himself?
You
or did
better
he,
believe he's a criminal mastermind, baby, and he used the airdrop feature. Okay,
Yeah.
he could have texted. I thought at first
He could have texted and deleted it.
and then delete it, but no, that's too much digital evidence. He used the airdrop feature, man.
There's a record of airdrops, though.
There is a record of airdrops, and
Yeah, but you don't usually check.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
you're under criminal investigation, though, they will.
Yeah, they will, but he wouldn't. The guy who the unsuspecting.
No,
owner of the phone
the
wouldn't.
guy's just like, why'd you have my phone so long? And then he looked to see if he texted anything from his
And he was like, certainly no texts were made.
Yeah, great live internet comment. Tiller says he sent it. Yeah, he sent it to himself. He sent the photos to himself.
He did.
And I guess the victim, the woman who had sent the nudes to her husband, her kids were there, and it was called a life group. I don't know what that is, but some sort of prayer group. Okay. And I guess she went downstairs to check on her kids. Went down in the basement to check on her kids, and when she came back up, she saw the pastor clutching his phone and hiding the screen from her view. So like he couldn't wait. He got those nudes.
He was checking the nudes while they were in the house with the kids.
Yeah, bro. He couldn't wait. He could
You're not
going to
wait on that. Well, come on, if you're this guy, you're not
horny
gonna wait on
man.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
he wanted her to be up. He wanted for her to be in the house while he was doing it.
Big time. He came from one of those families that opened
she's
the
right
present on
upstairs.
Christmas Eve. You know what I mean?
She's right.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to look at it now. I can't wait. I'm going to look at it later, but also now. So he got caught like, red-handed effectively. She came up, and he's just sitting there looking at that phone, just saying, yeah, Daddy's got them. Oh, Daddy's got them. Later, Daddy's going to touch himself. Oh, my God. So he puts the phone real close to his chest, and she's immediately
Your son of a
weirded out.
bitch husband texted me.
She's immediately...
Can't believe he'd send these.
She's a women's intuition. She's immediately like weirded out by it. She's like, "What's going on?" And he's now clutching the phone to his chest. Okay, so she came up and rolled up on him. He's looking at those nudes. The phone hits his chest and it's just stay there. She engages him in conversation, and they're talking for a while. And meanwhile, he hasn't been able to get that phone into sleep mode. Okay, it's just that nude is
click
just
the
sitting
side
there.
button.
On his chest, he's frozen. Okay, he's frozen. He's caught. He thinks maybe
He's a pastor. He doesn't normally commit crimes, and so he's not good at it.
This is a real crossroads, Mark. Anything could happen, right? He could keep the nudes and masturbate to them later and then forever, or he could get busted. Okay,
He's got the phone resting on his erection like a kickstand.
He slowly lowers the phone down to his side. Again,
Pocket,
the nude
pocket.
still open, and she knows something's up, so she taps his phone. She's like, "What is that?" And taps his phone, re-illuminating her hot nude body.
Oh no, she fucking saw her own nude on his phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
big time.
I mean,
and
red-handed.
she says, that's my hot body. She knew that because she knew the photo she'd sent. She sent it to her husband recently, apparently. Because I guess I've always wanted an app on phone, like really for social media that would take you right to bikini pics, right? Like the AI search for like skin. You got to wonder if there's like, you could scroll fast.
There's a number of things you could have done.
If you just click on enough
Turn the
boob
phone
pics
off.
on Instagram,
Turn the phone off.
you can turn your Instagram.
Destroy the phone.
So
Swallow the phone.
she said, "Oh my God, that's a nude of me on your phone." And he, quote, turned white as a ghost, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit. And according to the complaint, he tried to convince her that was his wife, not her. He said, no, that's not you. That's my wife. That's my wife. I was looking at her nudes during
It's got her furniture and shit.
She's
our
like, you
life
don't have
group.
a wife.
Yeah, no, he's got a wife, but he was saying that's my lady, and I like to get, I just got horny during our life group, so I was looking at the nude of my wife. That's not you, and she went to her husband and said, "Hey, did you give your phone to Pastor Gabe?" And he goes, "Yeah, he was downloading an audiobook app for me for a while. Oh my God, charges were filed, big time, big time."
He's like, how the hell did this get on my phone? God
my
must have
God.
willed it.
God must have God airdropped it to me.
Pastor Gabe.
Come up with a sin. Come up with a sin. Come up with a sin. Quickly,
Yeah.
come up with a sin. Shit, you're married. Shit.
All right, I guess I got to send you one of mine.
Here you go.
Let me airdrop you.
Yeah, so he got arrested, was fired from the church, and he was doing his prelim hearing on Wednesday morning to discuss those charges, 2 charges of capturing an intimate representation without consent. And as soon as they wrapped the pre-hearing, he was rearrested because the pastor is a habitual nude stealer. Another victim has come forward and said, he stole my nudes too. So they looked back through his phone. And when they looked at his phone, they found out he airdropped as well. Well, good on you.
Yeah,
He's
because
gonna
it's
be
like it's not as if it doesn't exist. The airdrop.
He's going to be doing his life group in Pod D from now on.
What a bold, scary move, man. What a bold move.
Fuck that guy. I'm glad that couple came out. Sounds like he'd been doing it to couples like well before. It's terrible.
That's my wife. That's not your wife. That's my wife.
Yeah.
What a loser.
Don't you see? It's turning accordingly. Please change hair colors.
Oh, yeah, she's right downstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, she is right downstairs. Look at that.
She's on the other side of this wall.
Look at those floppers. Those floppers are right downstairs.
They're so stupid. They're over here in my life group and I'm jerking off.
Yeah. Hey, what was that, Pastor? What was that book you wanted me to listen to? Oh, yeah, the book. Yeah, the book.
It's so weird for horny guys to get into the clergy. Why does it happen so much?
I think a lot of, I don't know.
Part of being interested in that job in the first place is being not that horny, right? Like,
I think it's just not natural to repress yourself, and like a lot of that job is repression. Maybe I don't know.
This dude's married.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
This dude's married.
What is he repressing himself from?
I don't know. Maybe he
wife.
shouldn't be married and shouldn't be a pastor and should be out there just hound dogging it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like it's just a bad career choice. Like I was
He
saying.
needs to get
Or
a
just
boat
been
like
a bad
Lieutenant
guy.
Dan. Just change it up.
Yeah.
Oh
real
yeah,
quick,
he's gone forever. I mean, his wife's going to divorce him. He's got to move town, change names. Pastor Gabe. I mean, he's persona non grata, right?
He's out.
You'd
He's
assume
gone.
the whole town is going to run him off with pitchforks if he ever tries to come
He's
back.
gone. And real quick, we didn't mention this, but one text message from the Garth Brooks lawsuit came out, and apparently the woman that he was involved with is accusing him of rape said something about the stick he's carrying, the big stick, and then she called him Roosevelt, as in like walk softly but carry a big stick, Teddy Roosevelt.
So Garth Brooks has a big dick,
and his nickname is Roosevelt.
No way.
Crazy. Did Garth Brooks leak that or
No? That was in the lawsuit. The text
You
message.
want me to play it with my dong?
crazy?
Yeah, just put the guitar 6 feet away and I'll play it.
Did his wife sold the house like a day before the charges
Trisha did?
came out, right?
Yeah.
So she's probably like distancing herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tough week for Chris Gaines.
It's hard to distance yourself from a guy with that big of a stick. All right.
Yeah.
I think once his rape is in public, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah. It's like makes it a lot easier. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to some good science news. I got to give the scientists a lot of shit on this show, honestly, making fun of their nerdy accents and stuff. And then some of the stupid things that they do.
We like science, but we also like making fun of it. We like
exactly. I love it, but I love to hate on it too because it's fun. But credit where it's due. They make some great discoveries sometimes, those scientists. And today I've got 2 good ones to share that are making the headlines right now. Going from worst to best, because not many people are going to care about this first one. But I love space, so I care. Ceres is a dwarf planet between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt.
Looks like an asshole.
Yeah, like a glowy butthole. And it's kind of, you'll hear, Mark, it kind of is. It's about 588 miles across, Ceres. So imagine if Virginia was its own planet, right? Like That's about the length of Virginia. If you just made that a planet, that's Ceres right there.
Small little guy.
Yeah, little guy. And new research from NASA, that's why it's a dwarf planet. New research from NASA and Purdue University shows that the crust is about 90% ice and the rest is like debris, like dirt and shit. And therefore, they believe now that it was once a muddy ocean that froze over.
Wow.
So this dwarf planet is like packed with ice and water and shit. So maybe, it's more of like a planet version of Louisiana because similar size and muddy water. But it's good for space exploration scientists because this icy dwarf planet is a lot closer to explore than the moons of Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, which are the next closest, icy objects containing tons of water in space. So,
Okay.
These guys are like Bigfoot catchers. They almost got the inhabitable planet. They almost caught it. They almost got it. This one's closer. This one's closer.
Yeah, they're finding closer ice, right?
Yeah.
They probably knew there was a lot of ice
Bigfoot.
there. But now it's like, hey, we could maybe get to this ice because you're gonna need water in space, right? If you're gonna go to space,
Humans are gonna need water. Well, yeah,
you're gonna need water, right? So it's like they're just trying to map this out in advance, And if that didn't knock your socks off, which I'm sure it didn't for most, try this one on for size. You're gonna like this. Researchers in Denmark have developed a new drug and published the results in the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry. And the drug is called Lake with a capital K. So L-A-K-E, capital K. Kind of weird. And it's shown to flush out toxins and strengthen the heart of lab rats. And in humans, they predict the results to be similar to running a 10K race by simply just taking a pill.
What?
So like, literally, you take a pill, and it will give your body the positive physical effects of running a 10K race, of flushing out the toxins and being good for your heart.
What if you take like 6 of them?
Well, I don't know. You're probably not supposed to overdose on them, but I mean, if you take what they prescribe you, they say that it's basically a miracle drug. Dr. Thomas Poulsen. I don't know how Danish people pronounce Poulsen. Poulsen, he said, we've developed a molecule that can mimic the body's natural metabolic response to strenuous exercise and fasting. In the practice, the molecule brings the body into a metabolic state corresponding to running 10 kilometers at a high speed on an empty stomach. And so he's a Danish doctor. And so said it like that. But yeah, it's about to enter human trials. And if successful, they literally will have made the exercise pill, like the thing that people have been begging for from science since science began.
Now, do you stay fat with just like a good heart, or do you?
No, you probably get skinny because it's probably helping you burn, calories and whatnot.
So you just are like, just imagine like sitting down to like work for the day, and then you take that pill, and are you just winded or?
No, I don't think it makes you win. It's just like your body's going through the positive effects of this if it was exercising.
What's it do to your heart rate?
I don't know. They're gonna have. I mean, that's gonna probably be part of the study, right?
Some of these people,
unhealthy people take this,
should not be taking the pill.
Maybe, but that's why they do the trials. Yeah. And so, if it does work, that's great news for the entire world, especially the USA, because we're pretty fucking fat. We're dropping the obesity rate a little bit, but this pill would maybe. Especially if it was like more accessible than Ozempic and you don't have to inject it, maybe you could help out a little more because we've got more fat to lose.
That's Lake with the K.
Capital L, lowercase K, lowercase E.
Need to get some of that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. See, it's scientists are coming through, and I don't know if this is real or not, but I just thought this was really fucking funny. Back to hurricanes real quick from at MC Masters. The government shipped up 3 pallets of electric chainsaws to us in a community without power. And then he posted a picture of electric chainsaws. Apparently this dude is up in the Helene area.
Well, you can resell them though. Yeah.
People keep tagging him into community notes and he keeps shit talking him. Nobody's verified if it's real or fake yet.
Funny post either way.
Yeah, no, exactly. Even if it was a meme, one of the funnier memes that's been posted out of this deluge of hurricanes, But yeah, That's it. You guys got anything else for this episode?
No, man. I think just hope that Milton. What's below an eagle?
Albatross.
An albatross. Hope Milton albatrosses.
Yeah. Like as in
Goes to a -2 from a 5 to a 2. Yeah, that's an albatross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
oh right. Yeah, it keeps going downgrading.
Go down,
yeah, I mean
baby.
it's already at a 3. Usually once it's making like
think
contact with land, it doesn't like get faster.
I don't
So
know if an
hopefully-
albatross is a double eagle, if they're synonymous, or if double eagle is
double
-4,
eagle.
but we'd like it to double eagle too. Either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. What if it came in at a tropical storm?
It's an
That'd be
albatross
the
or a
best.
double eagle. It's interchangeable.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Either
I
way,
don't think there's a term for a hole in one on a par 5. That would be insane.
yeah. That'd be cool though. Yeah. Nobody can do
A
it.
condor.
Either way, yeah, that would be a cool name for it too. Either way, everybody stay safe out there, if you're in any of these parts that are being messed with by the weather. But most importantly, get out there and have yourselves a great fucking day.